I am honored to be the first to say welcome to our community's healing garden at Brooksby Farm. This garden was created as a result of the sudden loss of 3 amazing individuals. Their lives have shed light on all who met them. While they were taken from this world all too soon, they continue to shine their light. Light on the many incredible lives we have lost, both before and after them. Light in our own lives as we hope for a better tomorrow. A very special thank you to our benefactors, vendors, and volunteers. It is with your support, vision, dedication, and heart that we are all here today. I'd now like to present our Peabody High's ROTC, and our national anthem will be performed by Dina Giamellos.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, where so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's bright glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
If you could please stay standing for our Pledge of Allegiance by Colonel Erickson.
Good morning, I'm Colonel Erickson, and this is Cadet Marcus Betancourt, who will be doing the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
You may have a seat, please. Thank you. And now on for a blessing and words of reflection from Mo Pratt.
Good morning. My name is Assistant Superintendent Maurice Pratt of the Essex County Sheriff's Department. Today I join you in dedicating this healing garden to 3 cherished Peabodyites, for I too am a Peabody guy. They left us in November of 2019. Judy, an adoring wife, mother, and teacher. In both her home and at work, she loved doing anything she could to help others. Kara, whose warm heart, kind eyes, and pure love inspired so many young people to do such great things. And young Jackson, an affectionate and caring soul who would talk to anyone and who loved making others smile. Judy, Kara, and Jackson shared certain traits: boundless energy, unwavering love for others, and a willingness to do whatever was necessary to brighten someone else's day. As we go forward, Let us attempt to honor these three in our own actions. Perhaps care the way Judy did, inspire the way Kara did, and love the way Jackson did. Thank you.
And now Sarah Dunn will perform Jealous of the Angels.
There will be another angel around the throne tonight. Love lives on inside of me, and I will hold on tight. It's not my place to question, only God knows why. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight. You always made my troubles feel so small, and you were always there to catch me when I'd fall. In a world where heroes come and go, God just took the only one I know. So I'll hold you as close as I can. I'm longing for the day when I see your face again. But until then, God must need another angel around the throne tonight. Love lives on inside of me, and I will hold on tight. It's not my place to question, only God knows why. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight, singing hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight.
That was beautiful, thank you. There are large boxes of Kleenex circulating all around, just so we know. And now I'm happy to introduce our community's Mayor, Ted Betancourt.
Yes, Sarah, that was beautiful. Good morning. I'm Mayor Ted Betancourt, and it's my true honor and privilege to welcome all of you to Brooksby Farm here today for this very special dedication of Peabody's Healing Garden. Certainly there's been a lot of talk of weather recently, but I'm so happy to be able to have this moment with all of you in this beautiful day that we have. In November of 2019, the untimely passing of Higgins student Jackson Frechette, Superintendent Kara Mertag, and Assistant High School Principal Judy Maniatis left our community shaken and reeling with grief. At first, we struggled simply to comprehend the shocking suddenness of the news itself. The happy and loving Jackson, the beloved and charismatic Kara, and the caring and dedicated Judy, all taken from their families, friends, and our school community far too soon. What happened in the days that followed, however, came as no surprise to those of us who call Peabody home. With heavy hearts, our community came together, like it has so many times before, with an outpouring of love and support. Love and support for 3 grieving families as they coped with such tragic and unexpected loss. Love and support for our students, many of whom were dealing with death of a friend and classmate for the very first time. Love and support for our teachers, administrators, and staff as they grieved for colleagues and friends they have known for decades. Love and support for friends, neighbors, and even total strangers as we gather to pay our respects and say our goodbyes. As we began 2020, we resolved to move forward and keep Jackson, Kara, and Judy in our hearts and minds, and to gain strength and resolve from the examples they set and the lives they led. We couldn't have known at the time that 2020 and COVID would bring so much more tragedy, loss, and heartache to our community and to the world, and that we would need that strength and resolve more than ever before. And as we continue to heal as a community from our shared grief and recover from the effects of a pandemic, we suffered another terrible loss this past July with the untimely passing of Nick Delacroce, a young man whose passion and creativity touched all those who knew him and who loved him. Nick's parents are here today and family, and I wanted to say to Dana and Rachel, our community's with you, our hearts are with you. There are a number of people that I want to recognize who helped make this beautiful addition to our farm and our city a reality. First, Dr. Mark Kerbel. Dr. Kerbel came to the city of Peabody to succeed Kara as our interim superintendent. An incredibly kind man who had a deep love for the city of Peabody conceived the idea of a healing garden to try and help our community heal. Then an amazing group of volunteers made this day happen. Team Captain Maria Champany, who's from the West School, who spoke earlier. Heidi Mason, teacher at the Carroll School. Bradley Tatton, a former teacher at the Carroll School. Joanne Roden, the farm director here at Brooksby Farm, who does an amazing job. Tom Gould, who is a driving force behind making this happen, a big heart, really helped move this along, getting the permits and everything we needed to have this event today. And Dr. Mark Kerbel and his lovely wife, Joan. I did also want to mention unofficial members of the team was Darryl McCarthy and Chris Ryder from my office, who did some amazing work to help make today. I wanted to thank our legislative delegation who's here today, all the members of the City Council, School Committee, whose support and votes helped make this happen. A special thank you to the Community Preservation Commission members for their enthusiastic support, our Park and Rec Commission, who voted to allow this project to take place on farm grounds. And I also wanted to thank the Peabody Municipal Light Plant. Their support and help with funding was critical to make this day a reality, and I wanted to thank all of our elected officials and members of our community who helped in so many different ways. Each of their contribution was critical to making this happen. I also wanted to say a special thank you to Jen Davis of the Park and Rec Department and her team for the work they do in making this happen as well. The commitment I saw from this group was amazing. Just to give you an example, yesterday I called Maria to just check on a couple of things for today, and I found out that her and Heidi were here cleaning the bricks on their hands and knees, doing amazing work to try to make today a success. But that's just a small piece of all the hard work and effort they put into it. I want to thank everybody for the wonderful contributions. Those people listed on the program, everybody played a part, and this is truly a community event. In a few moments, we will officially dedicate Peabody's Healing Garden in loving memory of Jackson, Kara, and Judy, and to all of those special souls who touched our lives in countless ways and will eternally be in all of our hearts. Peabody's Healing Garden will forever be a place where members of our community can seek solace and comfort in times of tragedy, sadness, and loss. Thank you. I wanted to now invite to come speak just a tremendous friend of the city of Peabody, friend of mine, who has time and again stepped up for our community, and I wanted to ask him to come forward and speak, Dr. Herb Levine.
Good morning. I speak about Kara Murtagh this morning. I have been asked to do so, but I honor everybody who's being remembered here today. They gave me 5 minutes. Tom Gould said 5 minutes. And then they put a microphone in front of me. Kara and I worked together for 4 years. She was my deputy superintendent. We became very close personal friends, and we were in sync as professional colleagues. We like to visit schools a lot. Kara and I both like to get out and get to see schools and principals and teachers, and especially the kids. And I made the tremendous mistake of allowing Kara to drive one day. I always thought that all 4 tires should be on the ground at the same time. It was like stepping into a Speed Racer cartoon. So for the next 4 years, Kara never drove. She never understood why I wouldn't let her drive. I drove everywhere we went. But Kara was so important to this community in so many different ways. Her heart was huge. Besides her Cadillac, Kara loved 3 things: her family, her colleagues and friends, and kids. I want to focus on kids. Kara had an enormous impact on kids. A whole generation after generation after generation of kids. She was a classroom teacher, and then she became a principal. Being a principal is something special. Being a teacher is special, but being a principal is something special, especially when you did it her way. And she always missed the principalship when she became assistant superintendent. And I remember walking through different schools with her at different times, especially the middle school during the time that I was there. And how many kids would approach her like she was a rock star. Of course, I didn't like that very much, but she was an amazing human being and knew every kid that approached her by name. Every kid. It was amazing to me. She knew the name of the kid. She knew the background of the family. She would tell me all about her experience with that child and those adults. An amazing, amazing human being. Kara had just begun to take the school system in a direction that she thought was right. A journey that would have taken the schools to understand what it was that students who graduated Peabody High School should be able to do and should know. But she was taken much too early from us. So somebody else will have to continue her work. But many of the people that are in place during the time that Kara was here as assistant superintendent know what Kara wanted, know how passionately she felt about the school system, know where it was that she wanted to take the schools, and will help the next group of administrators continue on that journey. Her heart may have failed her at the end, but her heart beats in every child, every parent, every family member, every colleague, and every friend that she ever touched. And that means that we, as a group, will carry forward what it was that she loved most, what it was that she was committed to, and what she spent her life doing, and that was making this world a better place. So, to the families that are gathered here today in memory of their loved ones, and especially to the Murtagh family, who I know and love, I want to say, Kara is in heaven with God. I know that because if you listen closely, you can hear her clopping with her high heels. And she's walking all over the place up there, trying to make sure that every kid everywhere has what they need to succeed. I know she's walking because God wouldn't dare let her drive. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Levine. And now Dina Giamellos will perform I'll Be Seeing You.
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut trees, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, and I'll be seeing you. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you.
That was beautiful, Dina. Thank you. And now I would like to introduce our former interim superintendent, Dr. Mark Kerbel.
Hello, everyone. It's tough to speak after hearing that song. I was toast after the first one. Herb, thank you, for what you said, because it helps me in terms of trying to get through what I have to say. Ted, thank you for the kind words. Thank you for your leadership. Okay, we wouldn't be here without you. For those who don't know me, my name is Mark Kerbel. My wife Joan, both grew up in Peabody, went to Peabody school system together. Joan actually lived at Brooksby Farm. 50 years ago, we used to walk the trails. Never dreamed that I would be here at this moment. I taught in Peabody for 16 years. What is really interesting is 2019, and Herb was superintendent. I worked for the state, and I did a review with 5 other people for 10 days. So I knew Peabody pretty well. had a chance to talk to Kara because I worked for her father for 7 years as a young special ed teacher at the College School. Knew Carol 50 years ago, and knew Carol when she was probably 5, 6, 7 years old, right around there, because we used to have all the parties at your house, Carol. Remember that? And so when I got the call from Ted, and my wife and I were driving to Maine for lunch, so I'll tell you a little humor goes a long way. So even if you don't think it's funny, laugh anyways. That'll help me. Okay. So we're driving, and Ted's talking to me, and then my wife is yelling to me, "You're going off the side of the road. Stay on the side of the road. Look straight ahead." That's how shocked I was. And so when I met with I'm going to stop from here.
If we could all, for a round of applause for our young men and women who serve in the Air Force JROTC. But one thing I did want to mention, and I think we just all saw how important our police and fire and ambulance are, and I didn't mention it earlier. I wanted to thank our Peabody Police Department, Chief Tom Griffin is here, our Peabody Fire Department, Chief Joe Daly is here, and of course we have Atlantic Ambulance, and the tests that all of them have gone through during these COVID days and all the tragedy over the last couple of years, and the important work they do is really something special, and they're there when we need them, and I think that was clearly evident at that moment, and thankfully they were here. I wanted to reintroduce Dr. Mark Kerbel to come back and speak, and again, he was the person who came up with this idea and really drove this forward. And Dr. Kerbel.
What do I say? So let me hit the rewind button and just say to the hello to the families of Jackson and Kara and Judith. And so I'm trying to give a perspective of what it was during the 6 months that I was in Peabody. And so I got a call from Ted and met with the school committee in January of 2020. And at that time, the meeting with the school committee was very short, and they just said one thing really: thank you, and please heal our schools and see what you can do for our city. That was basically the conversation. And from that point on, for the first month, it seemed like I was just saying that I was sorry because of everyone's loss. And so one of the things that I had found then, and be reflective about the moment at the time, was the sadness, profound sadness, and almost numbness of everybody, at least in the school department. And I got something similar when I met with people in the community. So here's the thing about loss. Some people move on, some people don't. Some people get triggered by events, some people don't. Okay, but nobody moves on, okay, without spending time healing. And that takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of courage to heal. And so I can't tell you how many people cried to me one-on-one or in groups. They were not afraid to show their emotion. And sometimes I'd be having a conversation and people would start crying. I said, and I knew it wasn't me. It was just a profound loss. Okay, and some people wouldn't cry, like defied me. They're talking, I said, well, you must miss Kara. Oh, I'm moving on. And then it didn't take long before they just become a mess, because that's how they really felt. And so one way to help people grieve, it was creating a caring and healing committee, in which we created 6 or 7. To mention some of them, let's see if I can remember. We had a food and snack committee, and we had a private area. We had quiet rooms in the school, we had communication subcommittee, we had self-care activities, and then we had this caring and healing event that was supposed to happen in May 2020. so much time and effort. Rosemary Slattery and her group, a lot of people from the high school. That was supposed to be the event to heal the city, and COVID came and ruined it. And I think that it's a time for it to come back. And then we have this caring and healing garden. And I just want to thank Jen Casper, Emily Lampkin, Karen McGovern, Michaeline Haig, Eric Sandstrom, Rosemary Slattery, and especially my wife Joan Kerbel, who was the liaison to all these subcommittees. So then we had this COVID, and I thought people were distraught when I first arrived, but COVID just really hit home for everybody. That was the major trigger that people couldn't overcome. I tell Joan, I can't tell you how many times I would go out to a school, go in my car, cry in my hands, and then shake it off and go back to the office, because that's how much emotion was out there. So if I think back, I'm just so proud of the Healing Garden Committee that stuck with it. And I can remember Jones, I was no longer the superintendent. Dr. Vidala took over, and I said to her, hey, you got to get going back on this Healing Committee. And she goes, hey, I don't report to you anymore. I report to Dr. Vidala. So I'm really proud of the captain and the others. I'm going to mention that in a second. But one of the things that we did, and I want to mention Kristen Kowalski, she was a healing counselor from Cure Dimensions who talked to key people about how they felt. Central office, Kara's former schools, the middle school, and then the people on the outreach. And so I do want to thank Maria Champigny, the captain, okay, Heidi Mason, Bradley Tatton, for really sticking it right to the very end, okay? And Joan, thank you for telling me to mind my own business. And I want to thank Ted Betancourt, the Preservation Society, and the Electric Light Committee, Tom Gould. And so, my final words, the Healing Garden is needed more than ever before. You just don't move on. Herb said that. Okay, others said that. You just don't move on when you're grieving, because people passed away before this event, and people passed away after. Okay, and so we all get triggered. The Healing Garden is needed more than ever. So I just want to leave you with the last line. Read this yesterday morning. It says, I am a God who heals. I heal broken bodies, broken minds, broken hearts, broken lives, and broken relationships. My very presence has immense healing powers. So Lord, bless the Healing Garden, and please heal the city of Peabody. And also please give Superintendent Dr. Vidala strength and wisdom to help the city heal in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kerbel. I am very happy to introduce our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Josh Vidala.
Thank you, Maria. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. What an incredible turnout this is. Dr. Kerbel, strength and wisdom, I'm certainly going to need a lot of that, so I need all the help I can get. I just want to take a minute to thank the city's leadership, Mayor Betancourt. I want to thank our elected officials who are here today. I want to thank the families. I think it's symbolic that I'm up here now following Dr. Levine and the great mentorship that he's provided, both to Kara and to me. Dr. Kerbel, who I followed symbolically and literally as the superintendent. You know, my first year when I came in, I visited all the schools and I said, tell me how you're feeling. Tell me what's going on. And I heard all the emotions. I heard anger, I heard fear, I heard disbelief. And I had experienced all of those too. As a Peabody resident, as a parent of 3 children in the Peabody schools, I felt that as well. And people talked about darkness and they talked about hopelessness. And those were two things that really, really hit home to me, is how do we pull out of that? And our community is simply amazing. And I said, you know, I'm tasked with just setting a vision. Dr. Levine said that the administration will have some work to do to be able to carry on Kara's legacy and the memories of Jackson and Judy. I'm not going to do that alone. It's up to all of us to do it together. And as I talked to everyone, what I realized is this idea of darkness and of hopelessness, we need something to pull us out of that. So I said, first, we need to reflect on where we've been, and we need to honor the legacy. And that is every student every day. That's what Kara, that was the drum that Kara beat every single day, and she brought happiness and joy to everyone. And so as I looked at everyone, I said, number one, we need to make sure that we take care of each other. And number two, we need to bring hope. So we have a vision of hope for every student every day. And as I look forth at how we're going to move forward, we'll never move on, but we're going to move forward, and we're going to move forward together. And we're going to do so with a sense of hope. And one of those ways is to have a place to go. And so I look at this beautiful garden, and now we have a place to go. We have a place to go to remember. We have a place to go to reflect and think about all the wonderful memories we have. And we also have a place that brings us hope, that brings us a sense of joy and of pride in our city and in our community. So I don't want to take up too much of your time today, but what I want to say is I thank you for being part of this community. I thank you for bringing the positivity and embracing one another when things get difficult, and most of all, for bringing a sense of hope, not only to each other, but to our community as a whole. And when I look at this garden, I think that we have bright things going on in the future. And I just thank you for being a part of it, and I thank you for being here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Vidala. I'd like to introduce a special man next. It's Stan Frechette. He is Jackson's dad.
Good morning, everyone. I didn't touch it. My name is Dan Frechette. I am Jackson's dad. I wanted to speak a little bit about Jackson, who he was as a man at 13, and what this healing garden means to myself and his family. Jackson was like most kids at his age, ambitious, rambunctious, never stopped moving, ever. But he had a thing about him that was unique in his own way. He cared more than you'd expect a child his age to be aware of. He was always the first one to help somebody across the street, and it's not even an exaggeration. He literally stopped us and he helped somebody cross the street. We would be in the grocery store, and if somebody was struggling to grab something, he'd be the first one to go over there and help that person do that. He had a heart of just gold that was always willing to put himself first before everybody else. Sorry. So yeah, that was Jackson. He was just love. He just loved everybody, loved everything, loved everyone. What this garden means to us and our family is a place to reflect on, a place to appreciate how much of an influence he had on everybody else's life. I think every parent here can understand the fear of losing a child. We discovered another one where when that child is gone, how do you reflect on it? How do you cope with it? How is his how is he going to be remembered with everybody else? Like, we all loved him inside our house. I want everybody else to know about him, know who he was, what kind of a kid he was. for the community to be able to come together afterwards and create this thing so that people that knew him or want to know him can go to is a truly, truly amazing thing that just is still, I'm still trying to wrap my head around. People that I've never met, people that I don't even know, banded together to celebrate this kid's life. And it's something that no matter how long I say up here or how many words I say, would never truly express how we feel and how much we thank you guys for what you guys did. So I will say simply that. Thank you very much. Frechette family, just one second. The Frechette family, the Robert family, Canavan family, we all truly, truly are grateful for what you guys have done for us. And just thank you very much.
That's tough to follow. Okay, thanks, Dan. Now I'd like to introduce, I could call him the city councilman, I could call him the man behind the curtain, or I can call him my friend, but in all fashions, Tom Gould. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to acknowledge State Senator Joan Lovely, who is here. Senator Lovely, thank you for being part of this. There were a lot of people that played some major roles in this creation of the Healing Garden, but there's one person that was here almost every day from the very beginning, from the get-go, and that's my friend, Peabody's friend, Brian Craney from Brian Craney Landscape. Brian, thank you so much for everything. We asked the Murtagh family if they'd like to speak, and they were not comfortable doing so. So they asked me to just spread some words. This is from Carol. We sat down last week, and I asked her what she'd like the message to be, and it's pretty simple. So on behalf of the Murtagh family, we'd like to thank everyone for your kindness since Kara's passing. It is still shocking that Kara is no longer with us. There isn't a moment that we don't think of her. We would especially like to thank Mayor Betancourt for this wonderful tribute to Jackson, Judy, and Kara. You have been wonderful, Mr. Mayor, and for that we thank you. We would also like to thank the Healing Garden Committee led by Maria Champagny for this beautiful garden. Thank you, Maria. Kara would be embarrassed by this honor, but it's comforting to all of us to know that she's looking down on us and smiling. We love you and miss you so much, Kara. And that's from Carol Murtagh. Thank you, Carol.
And now Caroline Castro will sing I Will Remember You. You want to keep circulating the Kleenex?
I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Wait not for the memory. I'm so tired, but I can't sleep. Standing on the edge of something much too deep. It's funny how we feel so much, but we cannot say a word. We are screaming inside, oh, but we can't be heard. I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. but we cannot say a word. We are screaming inside, oh, but we can't be heard. I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Wait not for the memories. I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. Weep not for the memories.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Caroline. So now we're going to unveil the benches. Our families will go down with Heidi Mason. The first family to go to the benches will be Jackson Frichette's family. So if you could please just meet Heidi over here on the side. Jackson's bench inscription was chosen by his family, and it says, "Forever hugging you." I'd now like to invite Kara Mertag's family and friends. So Kara's bench is inscribed every student, every day. That was chosen by everyone that knew her. It's also poured under the line, quote, "Kneel to the chief," was requested by her mom. I'd now like to invite Judy's friends from the Peabody High School, as well as a special student of hers, Sydney Nagel. So our last song for today is Gone Too Soon, that's performed by Max Barlow.
that's just beyond your reach. Gone too soon. Born to amuse, to inspire, to delight. Here one day, gone one night. Like a sunset, dying with the rising of the moon. Gone too soon. Gone too soon.
In closing, I'd like to quote Abraham Lincoln, who said, "In the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years." May Peabody's Healing Garden at Brooksby Farm be a place of peace, reflection, and hope to everyone. We'd like to thank John Simmons and the ROTC again for their support today. And we hope that you all join us as you visit the garden, the benches, and the beautiful bricks that are there. And our refreshments are to our left, my left, your right. Thank you all so much.